Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Trent Has No Idea What He Is Doing. Today I will be working on my gauge panel thing for the air suspension. So I've showed you guys this before. I got my little wooden panel here, the gauge fits into here. Already made my first mistake of the day by drilling these holes too big, but luckily I have some washers that fit, so we'll be all right. But anyway, I got my Alcantara micro suede type material in the mail the other day, so I'm gonna try to wrap this panel with that material. So I got my piece of wood already. Now I'm gonna be using this 3M Super 77. This is like really old, but it still works. I did a test panel. So I'm basically just gonna spray the face of this wood, let it tack up for a couple minutes, and then try to apply this material. So wish me luck. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully that's enough. I'm gonna let it tack up and then try to stick the material on. I'm not really worried about getting the material flat on the front, but I don't know how to wrap the corners over, so hopefully with the combination of the adhesive and a staple gun, I can make it look halfway decent from the front of the panel. The back doesn't matter because nobody's seeing it. So hopefully I could wrap the corners well enough for my liking, because I really don't want to do this more than once. So I have my material here. I'm going to attempt to stick it to the wood. All right, well you could kind of tell, but I got the material stuck at least flat to the face of it. I'll let that tack up for a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to go ahead and wrap it around. Maybe use a couple staples to hold it in place. With the panel flipped over, I got a pretty good tack on this top edge to actually wrap and fold around. But on this bottom edge, there's not really much. So I'm gonna just do a thin layer right along that bottom edge and then fold this material up. Let that dry for a bit, and then I'll probably throw a couple staples in. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna do the corners, probably just kind of like a Christmas present style, just folding it over, but we'll see. All right, I got most of it glued now, so it's experimental time to do the corners. So I was able to fold the corners over and throw some staples in here to keep it secure. Then I'm gonna glue this side down and then do the same thing. And we should be done with the wrap, and then I'll just need to cut out the hole where the gauge sits. So I got it all folded and stapled. Pretty clean on the ends. You probably can't see any of this just because the lighting's so terrible. There you go. So stapled on the back, got pretty even folds on both sides, and I'll just cut off the excess material and then use a X-Acto knife to cut out the hole where the gauge is supposed to go. Back out in the garage now for a little bit better lighting, but I just kind of put my head down and got to work inside on cutting out the hole for the gauge. So I just used an X-Acto knife and was like going real slow, make sure I didn't mess anything up. So I'll show you what it looks like right now. Here we go. We got the Alcantara wrapped, and then this is all cut out to allow the gauge to pass through. The only thing I have to do is punch the little holes for the screws to go through, and then we should be good. Good thing my uncle has like every tool imaginable, because I wouldn't have been able to tighten down those little baby nuts and bolts without his tools. But look at this thing. It's a 5.5 mil little baby poly pocket wrench. Sick. And there it is, guys, finished product. Got that micro suede wrapped gauge panel here. It's gonna fit nicely within the glove box. Ended up wrapping the corners like a Christmas present style. And it doesn't really matter that those folds are there, because that's the section that's actually gonna be screwed into the sides of the glove box. So that'll be tucked nicely, and then from the top and the bottom, well, really all you're gonna see is the front and the top. So those both look perfect, and I think it turned out really pro. All right guys, that is gonna do it for today's video. It's a little short, but I promised myself I would document as much as I could throughout this whole air suspension process. So let me know what you think of the new gauge panel in the comments below. Until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flippity flop. Peace.